Good morning. It's spring here in the desert, and we've had an uncharacteristically wet winter. So today, even though this is Hell's Canyon, we're greeted with some uncharacteristic splashes of colors from wildflowers. Even some of the cacti have decided to risk a bloom. We're not hiking as quickly as we usually do. We're taking time to stop and smell the flowers along the way. That means we won't get anywhere very quickly, but we'll enjoy the trip, which is what today's anime is about.
Aria, the origination.
Aria the Origination is the third season of Aria anime that I've watched and then talked about. Obviously I keep coming back for more because I liked it. For those who weren't listening the last time around, Aria is a soft and gentle anime about training to be a gondolier or tourist guide or Undine in Neo-Venezia, a future replica of Venice, Italy, on a terraformed planet Mars that's been renamed Aqua. That sounds kind of sci-fi, but this show really is not sci-fi. The best I can describe it as a mellow slice-of-life series, a pleasant show where nothing much of import ever really happens, and in the very best way possible. Neo-Venezia is simply a perfect place, the ideal world. Aria takes joy in a sunset, some flowers, or just sharing a cup of tea with some friends. The principal characters are three young apprentice trainees trying to become prima Undines one day. During their training, they've all become best friends with one another. Each of these young ladies has a mentor, and they happen to be the finest prima Undines on Neo-Venezia. Each of those training tandems happens to work for a different tour guide company, though there's never anything as vulgar as competition going on in this perfect world. Each of Neo-Venezia's Undine companies also has a cat designated as their honorary president. These are native aqua cats, though, so they're intelligent enough not to work hard at their jobs. There's also a little girl from the first animation who remains as the heard but not seen pen pal at the start and end of many episodes. It creates a sort of audio diary. Nozomi Entertainment's latest Aria the Origination box set kicks off with the OVA Arietta. This 30-minute video returns to the Aria company. The best oar on the planet, Alicia, tells her perky apprentice, Akari, the story of how Alicia herself graduated from apprentice to prima, and how her friends Akira and Athena eventually helped her decide to take on an apprentice of her own. This OVA doesn't spend any time reintroducing the characters or the world of Neo-Venezia. It's more or less a direct continuation of the previous series, Aria the Natural, and you're expected to know who these people are and other details from the setting, such as how apprentices wear gloves while full-fledged prima Undines row bare-handed. I don't know if it was planned when the OVA was made, but this story also makes the perfect prologue to the third TV season. In this scene from that OVA, Akari sees Alicia off on her morning tour and then does her own chores while wondering about a dream she had the previous night. Naturally, she asks the cat.
Aria 社長。バイバイ。アリシアさんはどうして私を選んだんでしょうか?
For fans of the series, the OVA was instantly familiar, involving, and pleasant. When the ending credits appeared on the screen, I was amazed that half an hour had already passed. It seemed to have gone by so quickly. The third TV season is titled The Origination, and that might lead you to believe that this is some sort of flashback to how all this got started on Aqua, but that's not true. It's really just a continuation of the earlier series. It leads off with some episodes that, unlike the OVA, attempt to reintroduce the character and setting for any newcomers to Neo-Venezia. I found the first of these episodes the weakest of the 14, probably because it made an effort to reintroduce every character while repeating a lot of stuff we already knew. The second episode likewise wants to remind us of what Neo-Venezia is like, but it manages it with more of the series' customary sense of wonder, since there are always new hidden treasures to explore in this perfect city. The remaining episodes pick up pretty much where the previous seasons had left off, each showing us a new experience or a friendly character, and perhaps delving into a little insight into life. Through some flashbacks, we'll learn more about the mentors as well as their apprentices. For those wondering what people call the Aria Company's founder, Grandma, back when she was young, well, we have a story of how she created the Aria Company. In the course of these new episodes, we'll meet a number of other Undines and new trainees. Every one of them will have a name starting with the letter A, even Irene. Fans may recall in some of the earlier episodes that there were some supernatural abilities attributed to Aqua's cats. I was never really fond of these, and I'm happy to say that the origination avoids this metaphysical complication and sticks firmly to its 6 major human characters. Uniquely, Aria has a different opening animation for each show. The visuals behind those introductory credits establish the mood of the show and sometimes even tell part of the story. Aria is usually a series where nothing happens. Well, in the latter half of this third and final visit, something finally does happen. It's not a big something, as anime is calibrated. There's no aliens showing up or demonic invasions. There's just another small step in life that lets the series advance on a satisfying note of accomplishment. In previous seasons, any changes, such as Akari's arrival on Aqua and meeting with Alicia, were always seen in flashbacks to the past. Well, enough said about all that stuff. In the 5th episode, Aika again feels insecure that perhaps she's not advancing as fast as her practice mates, and Akari continues to find joy in absolutely everything around her.
いつもよりでっかい嬉しそうです。みんなが私の夏服で夏を感じてくれたから、まるで私がこのネオベネツィアの素敵な夏の一部になったような気がしたよ。恥ずかしいセルフキー。
Aria is based on a manga by Kozue Amano. You can find an English version of much of the Aria manga, as well as its prequel, Aqua, published by Tokyo Pop in the US. The 3rd season was made by all the same creative team, including director Junichi Sato. He's done a great job blending the elements of this story, putting in a heavy load of sentimentality, but mixing it with enough humor to keep it from becoming mere treacle. He seems to have a wonderful instinct for just how sappy he can get before he has to break the mood with a comment or a funny face.
寂しいよ。ただいま帰りました。
The animation isn't designed for action, but it's based on background art that's unfailingly beautiful. Whether it's a wisteria blossoming in springtime, a summer sunset, or a winter snowfall, or just the scenery of Neo Venezia, the town is always lovely. And there's a lot of attention to the small details of both the world and the characters in their uniforms and gondolas. The music adds a lot to this anime. It uses a small quartet of string instruments and piano, and occasionally some delicate vocals, to weave yet more strands of Aria's relaxing tapestry. This anime is an example of a yashike, a healing of mind and soul. It's a place to find a small, lovely courtyard, closed off from the hustle and the noise of the real world. Neo Venezia is that perfect world where everyone is always friendly and cheerful and loves their job, where nothing bad ever happens and no one ever has to think about such tawdry things as money. For 3 series, I've tried to analyze just what was so seductively addictive about Aria. I think it must be witchcraft. It's a show that almost never fails to leave me happy and at peace with the world. If we spread these DVDs around war zones, world peace might break out. The gentle, quiet charms of these characters and their world is just mesmerizing. Now, I didn't think I would like a subsequent series more than I liked the first 2, which were already pretty darn good. But this 3rd series, by allowing the story to advance just a little bit, has really capped it off with some wonderful stories. And so, I'm giving the 3rd series, The Origination, 5 stars. I can't entirely explain why. Partly because it made us laugh, it made us cry, it made us happy. But mostly because when we were done watching it, I was really sad that there weren't any more DVDs left in the box. Then I cheered up when I realized I could start over at the beginning again. Nozomi has released the single Arietta OVA and all 14 episodes of Season 3 on a set of 4 DVDs. It's subtitled only. They come in a very nice box set with an extra DVD that has cast and director interviews and another of director Sato's travelogues of the real-world Venice. It also has a small booklet that includes material about the Arietta OVA and the 3rd season and the world of Aqua. Thanks for watching.